Welcome to Serving Up My Plate, a yummy curriculum for first and second graders. Throughout this lesson, students will have the chance to answer questions, work in groups, and do hands-on activities about nutrition and physical activity. Be sure to pause the video when prompted on the screen to allow enough time for students to answer questions or complete activities before moving on. Let's get started. Second course, Eat Smart to Play Hard. Last lesson, students listened to the Do Be song, which talked about how different foods can do different things for our bodies. Students were asked to also complete the Day in the Life of handout to write a short story, poem, or song about their favorite fruit or vegetable and what that food does to help people. Today, we'll be doing an activity called the MyPlate Puzzle, where students will work together to answer questions to help another student named Sarah. Sarah has to prepare MyPlate meals for herself and her cousins, two moderately active 7-year-old girls. She is having trouble figuring out what foods to include in the meal and if they are part of the MyPlate food guide. Can you help Sarah make the right decisions? Work in pairs or groups to answer the following questions. Pause the video here to have enough time to form groups. When you're ready to move on, continue with this video. Sarah is counting fruits that she and her cousins need for the day. Sarah has small oranges, peaches, and bananas. She needs 3 pieces of fruit for each person in the group. In total, how many pieces of fruit does Sarah need for herself and her 2 cousins? Sarah needs 9 pieces of fruit for each person to have 3. What are some ways Sarah can divide the fruit up among the meals such as breakfast, lunch, and dinner, in addition to snacks? There may be many different answers to this question. For example, Sarah could have 1 fruit at every mealtime, such as breakfast, lunch, and then dinner, or 1 piece of fruit for breakfast and lunch, and then for a snack. Sarah has 2 small bananas, 1 small orange, and 2 small peaches. How many pieces of fruit does she have in total? Sarah has 5 pieces of fruit in total. How many more pieces of fruit does Sarah need so that she will have 9 in total? Sarah needs 4 more pieces of fruit plus the 5 she already has to have 9 in total. Now, Sarah is trying to decide what to have for dinner at a restaurant. She has 2 choices for meals. Can you help her choose a meal that has a variety of foods from all 5 food groups on the MyPlate food guide? Fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. Meal choice A at the restaurant is a turkey burger on a whole grain bun with lettuce and tomatoes. It also comes with a side of baked beans and milk. How many food groups from the MyPlate food guide are in this meal? There are 4 food groups in this meal: vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. How many different vegetables are part of this meal? This meal has 3 vegetables: lettuce, tomato, and beans. How many protein foods are part of this meal? This meal has 3 protein foods: the turkey burger, beans, and milk. Beans are both a vegetable and a protein, while milk is both a dairy food and a protein. How many fruits does this meal have? This meal has no foods from the fruit group. How many dairy foods does this meal have? This meal has 1 dairy food, milk. Does this meal have something from the grain group? Yes, the whole grain bun is part of the grain group. Does this meal provide foods from all 5 food groups of the MyPlate food guide? No, this meal is missing something from the fruit group. What fruit could Sarah add to this meal to help make half her plate fruits and vegetables? There are many different answers to this question, so feel free to discuss this question as a class. For instance, Sarah could add an apple or some grapes to this meal. Now that we've talked about meal choice A, let's learn about meal choice B. Meal choice B at the restaurant is spaghetti with meatballs and tomato sauce with a small garden salad on the side. How many food groups are part of meal choice B? Meal choice B has 3 of the food groups: vegetables, grains, and protein. How many vegetable items does this meal have? Meal choice B has 2 vegetable items, the tomato sauce and the garden salad. Even though the garden salad may have many different vegetables in it, we'll just count it as 1 vegetable item for this answer. How many foods from the protein group does this meal have? This meal has 1 food from the protein group, meatballs. Does this meal provide foods from all 5 food groups? The answer is no. This meal is missing the fruit and dairy groups. What other foods can Sarah add to this meal so it will have all foods from all 5 food groups? There are many different answers to this question, so feel free to discuss this question as a class. For instance, Sarah could add cheese to the pasta for dairy and apple slices to the salad for fruit. Now for our last 2 questions. Sarah is choosing vegetables for her cousin's dinners. She looks in the fridge to see what vegetables she can use for the dinners. In the fridge, Sarah finds zucchini, tomato, cauliflower, spinach, corn, a plum, and a lemon. How many foods in the fridge count as a vegetable? There are 5 vegetables in the fridge: zucchini, tomato, cauliflower, spinach, and corn. Tomato can be both a vegetable and a fruit. Now for our last question. How many vegetables does Sarah need if both of her cousins want 2 types of vegetables for their dinner? Sarah would need 4 different types of vegetables. Great job, everyone, for helping Sarah and her cousins with their meals. Thank you for joining us for today's lesson. See you next time.